the sports podcast with the youngest, most daring, intrepid, gutsy, fearless host on the planet. Get ready for Jake's Takes. Here's Jake.
My guest today is a legendary sports writer and reporter. He's been the face for Fox Major League Baseball since 2005, and he's a senior writer for The Athletic. In 2015 and 16, he won the Sports Emmy Award for Outstanding Sports Reporter. If you want baseball news, today's guest is the best in business. It's my absolute honor to welcome to Jake's Takes, baseball's finest, Ken Rosenthal.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit.
How you doing, Ken?
Jake, that is quite an introduction. Thank you very much.
You joking? And I gotta thank you quickly because
I'm not actually. That was nice.
I gotta thank you quickly because you were really nice to me at Citi Field when I met you in person. Like, shish, thank you so much.
Oh man, no problem. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, and how's your summer been so far?
My summer's been good. Working hard, but that's typical summer. Typical winter, typical fall, typical spring.
Oh yeah, so I gotta hear what it's like being Ken Rosenthal. Can you tell me a little bit about your job and give me some behind the scenes look of what you do? Like, how often do you go to the ballpark? All that type of stuff.
Okay, I'll try to do it as quickly as I can. It sort of depends on what time of year it is, but let's just talk about this time of year, right? When the season is starting and going in full force. I do a game for Fox every Saturday, and sometimes on Wednesdays too, but mostly just Saturdays. And what I will do is go to the ballpark, wherever it is. If I have to fly or in New York, I can just go by subway or whatever on Friday. And I'll spend Friday collecting information, talking to players, managers, coaches, anybody I can in preparation for the Saturday broadcast. And that's only 2 days a week. And that's just one job. My main job is writing for The Athletic. And I generally write 3 times a week. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. But I'm always trying to work on different stories, different angles, just different ways to present things that are going on in the sport. And it is quite consuming and it takes up a lot of time, but I love every minute of it.
Wow, that sounds like a dream job. By the way, Ken,
It is a dream job. It is a dream job. But I will say this, Jake. People don't always realize it's a job. And it's not just, hey, man, you're hanging around with the ball player. And that's like not the best part of the job. It's just part of the job. And it is fun being at the ballpark. It is fun going to games. There's no question. But there's work to do when I'm there. And it's not just hanging out and eating hot dogs.
Okay, that sounds okay, but still a dream job.
It's still a dream job. Don't get me wrong.
By the way, Ken, have you been to every MLB ballpark? I'm sure you have, but I just gotta ask.
Yes, I have.
So tell me which is your favorite one.
Well, I have kind of different groupings of favorites. So Fenway and Wrigley Field, they're kind of in a separate category because they're older and they're historic and classic ballparks. Of the newer parks, my favorites are Camden Yards because in part I worked there for many years. I was in Baltimore from 1987 before Camden Yards opened to 2009. I lived there. I also love Oracle Park in San Francisco, Safeco Field in Seattle, and I would say PNC Park in Pittsburgh as well. Those are my favorites.
Come on, you said 2 AL East teams and you didn't even say the Blue Jays. So come on, Ken.
Oh, I do love Skydome. I don't get to spend as much time there as I used to when I was covering the Orioles because I would go there frequently. But I love Toronto in general, and I love Skydome, yes. Actually, what is it? Rogers Center. I shouldn't call it Skydome.
So I gotta ask you right now because the Major League Baseball has just so much young talent. O'Neal Cruz, let's just talk about O'Neal Cruz for a second. 96 miles per hour to get to first base. Isn't that the fastest by an infielder this season? And it was his third game. Yes.
He is a unique figure. And one of the things I love about baseball, and a lot of people love about baseball, is You can have a 6'7" shortstop like O'Neal Cruz. You can have a 5'6" second baseman like Jose Altuve. At 5'6" might be generous. So the game is played by people in all shapes and sizes from all over the world, and that's part of the magic of it, really. But O'Neal Cruz, what he can do, his sheer physical tools, it's electric, and it's fun to watch, and it's kind of cool to see Pittsburgh bringing up some of these young guys now. He foremost among them, but some others as well. Jack Sawinski would be one, and they're having a little bit of success. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, I love O'Neal Cruz, but if I'm talking about rookies right now, how can I not mention Julio Rodriguez? He's my favorite rookie this season. He's playing well for the Mariners. But I got to ask you, which rookie does Ken Rosenthal think has been the best this season?
Julio's been really good. There's no question about that. I haven't given it that much thought. I would pick him. I don't know if Tariq Skubal is still a rookie. Probably not. He pitched a good amount last year. He's had a great year. And in the National League, I'd have to think about it. I haven't given it much thought. We'll have to see how that shakes out, Jake. You stumped me.
Yeah, let's go. So there's a lot of shortstop now coming up for new contracts this offseason. Trey Turner is going to be a free agent. Xander Bogaerts going to be a free agent. And by the way, for the sake of the Blue Jays, I'm hoping he does not resign. Carlos Correa is gonna opt out. At least I assume so. And I just wanted to know, do you think the Dodgers will be able to afford Turner? I mean, they're going to need to pay Buehler and Urias.
They can afford him. That's not a question. It's a question of whether, A, they want to keep him or go in another direction. They have Gavin Lux, who they could plug in if they wanted to. And it's also a question of what Trey Turner wants to do. Does he want to stay, or would he rather go somewhere else? Might some other team offer him a bigger contract that would be impossible for him to refuse? So it's really difficult to predict whatever happens in free agency. We all guess every year, and we're always wrong every year. So if you're asking me, can the Dodgers afford one of these guys? The answer to that is yes. Whether it's Turner or not, I don't know.
Are you joking me? How in the world can the Dodgers even think to go to a different direction than Turner? He's seriously unreal. He's got the fourth best active batting average this season. He's got nearly a 500 lifetime slugging. And by the way, I just wanted to tap into this, but which teams do you think Turner would get an offer from?
I'm not sure. A number of teams are going to need shortstops. And do I think the Dodgers would want him, Jake? Yeah, of course they'd want him. But the way free agency works, you don't always get what you want. That's kind of what I'm saying. Now,
I mean, if you're the Dodgers, you usually do.
Yeah, it's also true. Dansby Swanson, free agent. Atlanta's going to have a decision to make. Carlos Correa, as you said, most likely free agent. Xander Bogaerts. So the Minnesota Twins, the Boston Red Sox, the Atlanta Braves, those are three teams that are not certain their shortstops are coming back. And then when you have players of that caliber, unless you've got, say, a Corey Seager like the Rangers do, you might be interested in one of those players. Let's say the Blue Jays, for example, okay? Maybe you say, we'd like one of those shortstops, and we'll figure out what to do with Bo, put him in second, make Espinal a utility guy. You could think about that. Maybe trade Espinal for a pitcher. Maybe do something else. So what I'm saying is, when those kinds of players become available, the elite players, teams will sometimes move mountains and move other players to accommodate them.
By the way, speaking of Bo, when I was at Citi Field, the VP of Communications for the Mets was taking me to meet Francisco Lindor. And on the way there, he asked me, he's like, so Jake, you ready to meet the best shortstop in baseball? I stopped and I looked at it and I'm like, wait a minute, Bo Bichette's here? He started laughing, whatever. And then we argued who's better. So who do you think's a better shortstop, Bichette or Lindor?
Of those two? All around?
Yep.
Lindor's better defensively. Bo's better offensively. I'd probably take Bo, the younger guy, at this point. But is he either one of those guys the best shortstops in the game? I don't know that that's the case. There are other players I consider, including Mr. Trey Turner.
Yeah, and also Fernando Tatis Jr. Nobody forget about him.
That's right. That's right. If he comes back at shortstop.
That's true.
Put him in the outfield.
So I mentioned the Dodgers earlier, and they're just having another great campaign, sitting on top of the NL West. Yeah. What else is new? And but they lost their star outfielder Mookie Betts to injury. But thankfully, they have Eddie Alvarez on their roster this year. What a story he's had! Woo! And I know Mookie's unreal, but what do you think? Do you think Eddie can step into that role, getting a little bit of an offensive boost for the team?
No. Eddie is a part-time player at best. And they just signed Trace Thompson. Hopefully they'll have him platoon with Eddie. Now, Eddie is a great story. The Olympic speed skater, and he's had an amazing run in 2 sports. But first of all, no one's Mookie Betts. And they're just hoping to kind of patch the production together with those 2 guys and maybe others until Mookie comes back.
Okay, so I live in Toronto, so enough of that NL. Yeah, let's get back to the American League. Don't even know what to say about the Yankees. Oh my gosh, have they been incredible this season. But I gotta ask you, do you think their winning percentage is even sustainable? Have they already won the AL East?
Well, they might have already won the AL East. It might be really difficult to catch them. Sorry, Jake. Unless they have a run of injuries or just poor performance and both, perhaps, it looks like they're going to win the division. They've got, an 11, 10, 12-game lead, whatever it is, on this day that we're talking. But you asked me if this is sustainable, the winning percentage. Probably not. They're playing at an incredible rate right now and winning at an incredible rate. So I would suspect that at some point, as we're starting to see with Nestor Cortez slowing down a little bit, some of their starting pitching is going to need breaks or some other things are going to have to take place because these guys, a lot of them, 3 of them, Severino, Taillon, Cortez, they're going to be at innings levels where they might not necessarily end up comfortably. So that is the hope for guys like yourself who root for other teams in that division. But, man, you've seen them play, Jake. They're awfully good.
Okay, so I have to ask you, the Red Sox have been playing some unbelievable baseball lately. They're now 7 games over 500, I think. But, what's been the key for Boston to turn around their season? Because when I look at Boston, I don't see such a great baseball team.
The key is their offense got going. And that was the biggest problem early on, that for whatever reason they weren't hitting, even though they've got some of the best offensive players in the game. Bogarts and Devers and Martinez and even Trevor Story right now leading their team in RBIs. So they didn't give their pitching staff, their bullpen in particular, margin for error. And it seems now the offense has been resurgent and their pitching has settled down. They still have some questions, but they've got Chris Sale coming back, hopefully Eovaldi at some point, hopefully Whitlock at some point. So they're in pretty good shape. Not a perfect team by any stretch, but a good team.
So last question, and it's about my Blue Jays. They're sitting on top of the wild card, and that's without some of their major stars producing on the same level as last year. But now that Ryu is gone for the year, their bullpen's pretty thin, and they also don't have a veteran lefty bat. What do you think the Jays have to do to heading closer to the trade deadline?
Bullpen. They definitely need bullpen help. And even if Ryu is healthy, that would probably be the case. I know Stripling would be in the bullpen in that circumstance, perhaps, but they're going to need a couple of guys out there. And they've run Romano and Meza pretty hard to this point. So, yeah, that's their biggest need. They know it. The problem is other teams have very similar needs. The Mets are a team that needs bullpen help, for instance. The Yankees might look for it as well. Virtually every contender will. So, yes, the left-handed bat they've been looking for a while. They definitely could use that. They're imbalanced offensively, but bullpen would be the priority if I were running the team.
So, Ken, this has been an amazing dream to have you on to talk baseball with you. Did you have fun with me?
I did, man. Had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Thanks, and all the best.